Gurubhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome to another session of Weekend with Wisdom. This is Nitin Sridhar. Let me begin with the prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shivadhatri Swaha Swada Namostute Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone. Today's Weekend with Wisdom is on a very interesting topic, Introduction to AmritaBindu Upanishad. AmritaBindu Upanishad is one of the 20 Yoga Upanishads. In the Muktika canon lists 108 Upanishads. So the tradition has accepted this 108 Upanishads as authentic Upanishads teaching authentic Adhyatma Vidya. And among them, among the 108, 20 Upanishads are classified as Yoga Upanishads. Those which teach yoga. And among these 20, AmritaBindu Upanishad is one of the very important Upanishads. And the uniqueness of the AmritaBindu Upanishad is its description about mind, nature, and meditation and samadhi and other things. So we are very fortunate today to have Professor S R Prabhu who is joining us from Hyderabad to speak about this Upanishad, to give a comprehensive introduction to this Upanishad. Namaste, sir. Thank you for making time for this session. We are very happy to have you here. Just a brief introduction to the speaker. Professor S R Prabhu is an eminent scientist who held prestigious positions in government and professional bodies. He was the Director General of the National Informatics Center, Government of India, and he headed Computer Society of India's Hyderabad chapter, and he was also a chairman of ACM Hyderabad Deccan chapter. He has authored 16 books, of which 12 are in the cutting edge subjects such as fog computing and big data analytics. He founded and heads Vishwa Yoga Vidyapith and has taught yoga globally. He has conducted research both in computer science and in Samskrita texts and has authored research level books in all the above areas. He has developed a Dharma Yoga as a common framework for all religions and sciences. Thank you again, sir. Please go ahead and start your session.
Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsarshibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Friends, today we will be covering the AmritaBindu Upanishad, which is attached to the Yajurveda, and it is a very small Upanishad in size, but it covers very deep topic of Atma Paramatma Samyoga, which is definition of yoga. One of the definitions of yoga is the Samyoga of Atma and Paramatma. How that is possible? That is Jivatma and Paramatma. Jivatma Paramatmayo Samyoga eva yogaha. This is the definition of yoga, one of the definitions. So as you know, Patanjali has stated yoga has chittavritti nirodhaha tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam vritti sarupyam itaratra. So the core principle is to arrest the chitta vrittis, to stop the mind or to purify the mind or to still the mind or to calm the mind to such an extent that the mind is gone, amanaska sthiti or unmani sthiti, in which the self remains in the self. Drashtu swarupe avastha. In the swarupa, in own true nature of the self, it remains. Otherwise, vritti sarupyam itaratra. Otherwise, the self is getting distracted into the chittavrittis and falsely identifying itself with the chittavrittis. So this is the root cause of the bandha, karma bandha, and which leads to janma and janma bandha. So karma leads to janma and janma leads to karma. And so this cycle will go on indefinitely, endlessly, until you get to achieve moksha. So what is moksha? Moksha is relief, release, and escape from the cycle of birth and death. Once you are born, you are bound by karma. And because of that karma, you are again made to be born. So this cycle goes on. So to get release from this cycle of birth and rebirth, the only way is to get moksha, that is to realize the oneness of yourself with the Supreme Self. Jivatma is yourself, Paramatma is the Supreme Self, or God, or Ishvara, or Brahman, or Bhagavan. To realize the oneness which is already there, but it is being clouded and distracted and taken into the world of Maya through the mind. The mind is the real culprit. So the AmritaBindu Upanishad starts with a discussion on the mind. Manohi vividham proktam. Mind is identified as two types. Shuddham cha ashuddhameva cha. Pure and impure. Ashuddham kama sankalpagam. That is, the impure mind is full of kama. Kama can mean sexual desire. It can mean any other desire also. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman chaktva sarvaraseshataha. In the 6th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has explained. The word sankalpa, which is a kind of a thought process or a desire based on kama, desire. So the impure mind, ashuddham kama sankalpam, shuddham kama vivarjitam. So a pure mind is devoid, relieved from all desires, because the desires are the root cause of the chitta vrittis. Sankalpa and kama, they are both closely related. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman chaktva sarvan aseshataha manasaiva indriya gramam viniyamya samantataha shanai shanai ruparamet buddhya dhritigrihitaya atma samstham manakrutva na kinchidapi chintaye. So this is the process of meditation, of giving up thoughts and desires and being established in the pure self. So here he is telling the same thing. An impure mind is nothing but full of desires and therefore distractions and chittavrittis. Shuddham kama vivarjitam. So Shuddha mind is obviously devoid of any kama or desires and therefore sankalpas. And why it is so important that we worry about the mind? Because the next verse of this Upanishad says, this is a very famous statement in Sanskrit, which is being quoted here. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoh. Bandhasya vishayasaktam muktasya nirvishayam manaha. This is a very famous quotation of the relationship between the mind, manas or chitta, alternatively known, and the relationship of this mind with the moksha. If the mind is impure and if it is full of desires, then it will become the cause of bandha. And if the mind is pure, or purified, and so pure that it has no desires, free from all sankalpas and kamas, then it is already in liberated state. Banaeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo bandhasya bandha vishaya saktam muktay nirvishayam manaha. So Vishaya means the object of senses, which you are trying to grasp or trying to enjoy. If there are no such objects and there is no such desire, then the mind is purified. Almost the mind is gone. So the self remains in itself. Yato nirvishayasyasya manaso muktir visishyate. So ato sarvamayam nityam manakaryam mumukshuna. So always for mumukshus, for those who are interested in getting moksha or freedom. What is moksha? Moksha, one definition is freedom from birth and death. We have already explained that. In addition to that, even when you are alive, Jivan Mukti is also possible. When you are free from all ramifications, vicissitudes, and the complications that arise from the mind. So, yato nirvishayasya manaso muktir vishyate. So, when the mind is free from all vishayasakti, interest in sensory enjoyments or mental enjoyments, and nirvishayata, that means being without any object of sensory enjoyment. Nirvishayam nityam manah karyam mumukshuna. Therefore, for all the mumukshus, the best duty or work is to keep the mind free from any desires and attachments and sankalpas. Nirasta vishaya sanniruddham manohridi yadaya tyatmano bhavam tada tat paramam padam. So nirvishaya manas, when it is in the self established, as already explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, sankalpa prabhavan kaman chaktva sarvan seshataha manasaivendriya gramam viniyamya samantataha shanai paramed buddhya dhritigrihitaya atma samstham manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet yato nischarati manaschanchalam asthiram tatastato niyamya Edad atmaiva vasham nayet. Wherever the mind wanders, you bring it back from there slowly. Prashantamanasamhenam. When the mind achieves that peace, of course it is not easy. It is a result of abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa vairagya bhyam tan nirodha. And that is based on the ashtanga. Yoganga anushtanat jnana deeptihi avivekakhyate. So, Anushtana, the practice of the Yogangas, the Ashtangas, Yamana Yavasana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, the mind will be brought back into the self. And when it is established in the self, Samasta Vishaya Sangam Sanniruddhya Manohridi Yada, that is all the freedom from all attachments of the mind to any external body. When you are able to achieve that state of mind being established in your own heart, Shuddham Manohridi, in the Hrut, in the heart, because the heart is the seat of the Jivatma. Sarvasya Chaham Hriti Sannivishto Mattasmati Jnanam Apohanancha Yadaya Atmano Bhavam. When the nature of the self is experienced, Tat Paramam Padam. So the Prashantamana Samhenam Yoginam Sukhamuttamam, the greatest happiness, Ananda, Atmananda, which is achieved by the establishing of the mind within the self. Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam, in the Swarupa Nishtha Sthiti, then Tavadeva Niruddhovyam Yavat Dhritigatam Kshayam Etajnanam cha dhyanam cha tesho nyayascha vistaraha. And alternately, eshaha unmanyavastha vistaraha. So when the mind is absorbed in the self, without going out into the world, as Yoga Taravali also states, Unmanyavasthadighamaya vidwan upayamekam nirdishamaha pasyan udasinataya prapancham sankalpam unnulaya savadhanam. Be detached, dispassionate, and give up all thoughts and desires, and you will be established in yourself. When you are established in yourself, you are in the self, the nature of the self. Patanjali never explained what is that self. Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. The Swarupanishta has not been defined by Patanjali, but we have other Upanishads which have defined it. That is Ayamatma Brahma. That self is Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Yo Veda Nihito Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanancha. Vedaischa Sarvairahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krud Veda Videva Chaham. So the Supreme Being, God, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Paramapurusha, Purushottama, Paramatma, Parameswara is located in the heart of all beings, the Supreme Soul, because all beings are small amshas. The Jivatma is an amsha of Paramatma. The sigma, the total summation of all Atmas is called Paramatma, as you know. So, Naiva Chintyam, Nacha Chintyam, Nachintyam Chintyameva cha Pakshapata Vinirmuktam Brahma Sampadjate tada. So Brahmatmana samsthitihi, being established, the self being established in Brahman, can take place at that point of time when the mind is brought into the self and established in it. Naiva chintyam na cha chintyam na chintyam achintyameva cha pakshapata vinirmuktam. Neither thinking nor non-thinking, nor thinking and thinking, non-thinking together. It is devoid of all bias. Pakshapata vinirmuktam. All bias is transcended. Brahma sampadjate tada. So Brahmanubhuti, as you know, Shankaracharya mentions Jantunam na janma durlabhataram. Tatopi viprata tattu vaidika dharma marga parata vidvat sughoshadam. And finally, Brahmatmana samsthitihi shatakoti janma, unless you have 100 crores of lives you have crossed, you cannot reach that liberated state of Brahmatmana samsthiti, aham brahmasmi. That stage of level of consciousness, which is the supreme consciousness, can be achieved if and when this happens. Aswarena anubhavena. Now, of course, he is talking of swara. Swarena sandhayed yogam aswaram bhavayet param. Aswarena anubhavena sadabhavo sabhavo bhavavishyate. Now, we have in the Yoga Shastra, we have the swara concept. There is a swara yoga. There are texts explaining swara. Swara refers to Ida and Pingala, left and right nostrils, prana flowing. So, the yoga practices of pranayama are maintained at Swara Yoga, balancing the left and right systems, parasympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems in the body, which are related to the left nostril breathing and right nostril breathing. When both are balanced, which is achieved through pranayama, then you will get balance of both positive and negative or heat and cold systems in your own body, and you will be able to reach equanimity. And then it is said that Sushumna will open, and then only Kundalini will rise up to reach the Sahasrara, which is Samadhi stage. So he is talking of Aswara, that is beyond Swaras. Obviously, it is the Samadhi stage he is talking about. And Tadevam Nishkalam Brahma Nirvikalpam Niranjanam. Tad brahmahamiti jnatva brahma sampadjate dhruva. So when you realize you are not a jiva, but you are Brahma, Brahman, Parabrahman, Omkara, when you realize that, when you merge into it, you transcend your Jivatma stage, which is mundane, to the level of Paramatma, Brahma, Brahmi Sthiti. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha, Naivam Prapya Vimukyati, Sthitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvana Mruchati. In the second chapter, he has told, Vihaya Kamanyas Sarvan Pavan Sharati Nispraha, Nirmamo Nirahankaraha, Sashanti Madhigachati. So a person who gives up all desires and transcends Ahankara and Mamakara and is established in self. Vihaya Kamanyas Sarvan Pavan Sharati Nispraha, Nirmamo Nirahankaraha. He will only achieve peace. Sashanti Madhigachati. And that peace is not ordinary peace, but it is Brahmi Sthiti. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. Naivam Prapya Vimukyati. Even if you can reach at the end of your life, Sthitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. You will reach Nirvana, Brahma Nirvana, which is Moksha. Even at the time of death, if you can reach that, in fact, whatever state of the mind is there at the time of death, same thing will be continued in the next birth, next life. So if you are in Brahmi Sthiti, you will be liberated, you will be merged into the God, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Brahma, Parabrahma, Omkara. That's why he has told in the 8th chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, Prayana Kale Manasachalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bhruvor Madhye Pranamaveshya Samyak Satam Param Purushamupaiti Divyam Om Ityekaksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanusmalan Yak Prayati Tyajan Deham Sayati Paramam Gatin. So in the Brahmi Sthiti, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Pardha Naivam Prapya Vimuhyati Sthitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Even at the time of death, if you can reach that, of course you cannot reach suddenly at the time of death unless you have reached it before death comes. So before the death comes, if you are able to reach the Brahmi Sthiti, then at the time of death you can hope to reach it. The moment you reach it, you are liberated. You will not be born again. So he is talking of that Brahmi Sthiti, Nirvikalpam, Anantancha, Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam, Aprameyam, Anadyancha, Yajnatva, Muchyate Buddhaha. Buddhaha, a scholar, a learned man, will be liberated, knowing that which is Nirvikalpam, because this is Samadhi stage of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There is no distraction. Anantancha, Satyam Jnana Anantam Brahma, Yo Veda Nihito Guhayam Parame Vyoman. So it is infinite, eternal, Parabrahman, Om. You are able to realize your oneness with it. You are able to feel that you are Brahman, you are Om, you are part of Paramatma, you are none other than Paramatma. Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Satya Paramananda Advitiya Brahmatman Bhava Siddhir Bhuyat Sajatiya Vijatiya Svagata Veda Rahita Akhanda Satchidananda Brahmatman Bhava Siddhir Bhuyat. There is one Brahma Shirvada Paddhati given by Vidyaranya Swami where such assertions are made. So, I am the Brahman, I am everything. Hiranyagarbhadi sthavaranteshu sharireshu yad ekam chaitanyamasti. That pure consciousness which is there in each and every being, from the Chaturmukha Brahma, the creator, up to the smallest amoeba, in all the beings, whichever self is there, I am that self. I am not the body, I am not the mind. Naham deho ne indriyanyantarangam, nahankara pranavargo na buddhi, tarapatyakshet pravittadi dura sakshi, nitya Pratyagatma Shivoham. Prajvajnanad bhadirajjuryadha hisvatma jnanad atmano jiva bhavaha. By delusion, by maya, you have been assuming that you are jiva. With viveka and vairagya and samadhi, you can transcend Jivatva and realize your oneness with Paramatma. I can give you a very simple explanation of this on self-analysis. We ask a question, the fundamental question, who am I? That is what Ramana Maharshi asked. He asked himself and he asked the same question to everyone who went to him. That question is the most profound question on this earth. When you ask that question, who am I? Whatever answer you give can be proven to be wrong. Because if you say you are a name, so many people have that name. You cannot be just a name of 4 or 5 characters. So if you say you are son of so-and-so, and that so-and-so is also having a name, and so many such names are there, and he cannot be just the name. If you say finally you are the, say, designation kept on changing. You are not there, you are there before the designation came, and you are there after the designation. If you say you are Aadhaar number, then you existed before Aadhaar number, therefore you cannot be Aadhaar number. So you cannot be any identity, whatever identity you give, it can be proven to be false. So finally you'll say, I am the body. If you say you are the body, even that cannot be tenable because the body was very small in the beginning when you are born, and it keeps on growing and getting old, and finally it will die. But the sense of I-ness, pure consciousness is not growing. He is not getting aged. He is not getting fat and thin and tall. So the pure consciousness which you are is not the body. It is something beyond the body. Body may also be there. Your designation may also be there for some time, but you existed all the time. Balyadishvapi jagratadipi sada sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavritastvanuvartamanam ahamityantas purantam yada janamiti tameva bhantavanubhatye tat samastan jagat. You existed when you were a baby, I. And when you grew up in different conditions of life, different states of life, you have been existing. The states are changing, but I-ness, I, that is you, the consciousness is not changing. It remains the same. And surprisingly, it remains the same in everyone, not only in me, not only in you, but each and every being remains. Even the dog will not think I'm dog like that. It will think simply I. This pure consciousness. Ant also will think it's only I. So that's why Tyagaraja said, Chimalo, Brahmalo, Shiva Keshavadalalo, Prema Mira Nindi Undadi Rama. So, O Rama, that is, O Paramatma, you are there in the ant, you are there in Chaturmukha Brahma, you are there in everything. There is nothing which you are not there. And you are full of love, you are there in everything. Indugaladanduled Sandeham, all of the Chakri Sarvopagatundu. Prahlada tells Hiranyakashipu, where is Vishnu? He is not that he is here and he is not there, he is everywhere. Sarvasya chaham, sir, I am mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. So everything is myself. There is nothing which is other than me. So that Paramatma sthiti, Paramatma jnanam is Atma jnanam, Brahma jnanam, Moksha jnanam is being explained here to realize that one as Nirvikalpam Anantancha Hetu Drushtanta Varjitam Aprameyam Anadyancha Yajnatva Muchyate Buddha. So by knowing which you get liberated. Na virodho na chotpattihe na bandho na cha sadhakaha na nirodho na virodho na chotpattir na baddho na cha sadhakaha na mumukshur na eva muktihi ityesha paramarthata. So the pure self, which is supreme self, the Paramatma, Parabrahman, Om, is it liberated or not liberated? It is already liberated. It is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Satya, Parama, Ananda, Advitiya. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahmaneha Nanasti Kincha. So the moment your Jivatva is merged, like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, a salt crystal, when it went to measure the depth of the ocean, it never came back because it merged into the ocean. So also, The Jivatma, when it tries to reach Paramatma and understand Paramatma, it doesn't come back. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. It merges into Brahman, Paramatma, Omkara, Ishvara, Bhagavan. The moment you realize your oneness with God, you are God. You are. It doesn't. Please understand. This is not an egoistic statement. Aham Brahmasmi is a very, very, very advanced stage beyond ego, beyond all other aberrations of distortions of the pure consciousness. If Hiranyakashipu also said, "I am God, you worship me," but then he was saying with great amount of ego, it is asuri pravritti. There is no God, only I am God, like that. In fact, in the Gita it is said, asuri pravritti, one of the characteristics is Jagadahur Anishwaram. They say there is no God. I am myself God. Therefore worship. This is egoistic statement based upon Rajoguna and Tamoguna. This is not what is conveyed by the statements of oneness of the Jivatma and Paramatma. That is, the Paramatma is without any ego. God, we merge into God. Our egos are already dissolved and disappeared. They don't exist anymore. It is to say that only God exists and you don't exist separately. That is what it means actually. Na nirodho na chotpattihi na baddho na cha sadhakaha na mumukshur naiva muktihi ityesha paramardhata eka eva atma mantavyo jagrat swapna sushuptishu. As I was explaining to you, the nature of the self, as the self remains the same throughout the life, so also the self remains static in Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Who is going through these three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep? That self, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushuptishu, Sputataraya, Samvidujrumbhate. That Samvit, the pure knowledge, the spark of consciousness, spark of knowledge, which is experiencing Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. That is yourself, that pure self, not the ego. And ego, ahankara leads to mamakara, mamakara leads to raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and mada, and matsarya. You'll be carried away in the maya of this worldliness. But beyond the ego, there is a pure consciousness, which is the pure self. That is shuttling between Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushuptishu, Sthana, Traya, Vyatitasya, Punarjanma. न विन्दति एक एव हि भूतात्मा भूते भूते व्यवस्थितः. Oneself in every being. Ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate jalachandravat. So even though it's only one, it's appearing as many. There are many examples you can give. Like gold is only one, but appears as many ornaments. Sun is only one, but appears in various reflections, in various versions, in various conditions. So moon is only one, but it appears as different moons and different water bodies and distortions in the water bodies, the contaminations. So ghata samvrittam akasham ghatamani yatha ghate. That is, if you take the akasha in one ghata and akasha in another ghata and so on. So when the ghata is broken, the akasha remains akasha even before ghata and after ghata. Ghatavat vividhakaram vidyamanam punah punah tajyete chana janati jana na janati nityatah shabdamaya. Okay, so even though the ghatas are created and destroyed, the akasha remains same akasha, unaffected by the existence or non-existence of the ghata. So that akasha is self. You are that self. It remains independent of the bodies or different versions of the bodies, their existence or destruction. So, Shabda Aksharam Tvaram Brahma Tasmin Kshire Yadaksharam Etad Vidvan Aksharam Jayet Ichet Shantim Atmanaha. So, you meditate upon that Brahman. Shabdaksharam Param Brahma. So there is a Shabdaksharam, that is Om Ityekaksharam Brahma. You meditate on Om. Om meditation is the greatest meditation prescribed even for liberated souls. Om. This is Om Ityekaksharam Brahma. Om Pranavaha, Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. The name of Ishvara is Pranava Om, and by practicing Om meditation, you will be getting liberation. Om Ityekakshram Brahma, Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha, Tad Japastadartha Bhavanam, Tata Pratyak Chetanadhikamopi, Antaraya Bhavascha, Vyadhisthana Samshaya Alasya Virati, Bhranti Darshanalabdha Bhuvikatvante Antaraya. Dukkha Daudmanasya Angame Swa Shwasa Prashwasa Vikshepa Sahabhuvaha. Patanjali has explained the benefits of practicing Om, chanting, meditating, repetition, and contemplation on its meaning. The benefits are all pervasive. You can overcome any disease, you can overcome any problem of mind or your body, or any Vyadhi, Dhyana, Samshaya, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti, Darshanarabdha, Bhumitvatvanti, Antaraya, Dukkha, Daudmanasya, Angamejesva, Swasa, Praswasa, Vikshep, Sahabhuvaha. All these symptoms can be overcome through the practice of Om, chanting and meditation on its meaning. That is Shabda Brahma. Shabda Maya Vrito Deva Tamaso. Yati Pushkare Bhinne Tamasi Chaikatvam Ekameva Vipashyati. Shabdaksharam Param Brahma Tasmin Kshire Kshine Yadaksharam Tadvidya Aksharam Jhaye Yadichet Shantimatmanaha. Dve Vidye Veditavyetu Shabda Brahma Paranchaya Shabda Brahmana Nishnataha Param Brahma Digachati. So this is also a very famous statement. The Shabda Brahma. The word Shabda Brahma can be interpreted in two ways. One is Om itself, and the expansion of Om is Gayatri Mantra, and the expansion of Gayatri Mantra are the all Vedas, Veda Mata. So all Vedas, all mantras originate from Gayatri Mantra, and Gayatri Mantra originates from Om. So this is Shabda Brahma. So he who studies Brahma and acquires Jnana, Brahma Jnana is known as Brahmana. Brahmam Jnanatiti Brahmana. It's not enough when somebody is just born to another Brahmana, but he himself has to acquire Brahma Jnana. So he who knows Brahma is known as Brahmana. Brahmam Jnanatiti Brahmana. And the word Brahma can mean two things. One is the absolute reality, Parabrahman, that is Omkaram, that is, and it can also mean Veda. The word Brahma can mean Veda because from Omkara, Vedas have come. Like we have the description of Shloka of knowledge. Omkara Panjara Sukhi, Upanishad Dhyana Keli Kalakanthi, Agama Vipina Mayuri, Aryamantar Vibhavaye Gauri, Dayamana Dirghanayana, Deshika Rupena Darshadaya, Abhyudayam, Vamakucha Vihita Veenam, Vanim Sangita Matruka Vande. This is about Saraswati or knowledge, which is embedded totally inside Om. Omkara Panjara Sukhi, Upanishad Dhyana Keli Kalakanthi. She is a koel, she is a parrot encaged in a cage called Om. She is a koel singing beautifully in a garden called Upanishads, which we are reading now. And she is a peacock dancing fabulously, gorgeously in a forest called Vedas. Agama Vipina Mayuri. So the knowledge which is there in the Vedas, the knowledge which is there in the Upanishads, that entire knowledge is embedded in just one sound, and that is Om. So Shabda Brahma can mean Om, it can mean Sruti, these entire Vedas and Upanishads. As you know, Sruti comprises of 4 topics. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So he who knows all these Vedas is known also as Brahmana, because the word Brahma also means Vedas, because Vedas explain Brahma, and they explain all the Veda mantras are praises to God, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Brahma, Parabrahma, through the various Devata forms. This is a very important point. A lot of people can get confused thinking that the Vedas contain mantras for so many Devatas, and Hinduism is having so many Devatas, with so many temples having so many different Devatas. But actually, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. This statement is also there in the Rig Veda. Among all the four Vedas, Rig Veda is the premier one, the original one, the first one, and the basis for all the rest. It says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. Only one truth exists, which is manifest as different Devatas, Indram, Mitram, Varunam, Matarishvam, Suparno, Vagartman, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. So though there are multiple Devatas, actually Sat, the truth, the supreme truth is only one, that is Parabrahman, and that is what is conveyed by Om Ityekaksharam Brahma. And the same thing is expanded in Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhut Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So this, of course, this Gayatri Mantra which I chanted is with only 3 Vyahutis. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha. But the full Gayatri version is 7 Vyahutis. Om Bhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Swaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Apo Jyoti Raso Amritam Brahma Bhur Bhuva Suva Ro. This what I chanted just now is the full Gayatri Mantra with Saptavyahutis. Advanced people chant the advanced Gayatri version. Ordinary Sanjavandram will contain only the short form with 3 Vyahutis. And there is a book called Gayatri Kalpam, where the Gayatri Mantra has been explained in multifarious dimensions and perspectives. The Saptavyahuti full version of Gayatri Mantra is explained by Vasishtha as complete Advaita on the lines and similar scale of standard of Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha is one of the most advanced Advaita texts, and that level has been attributed and explained to the full version of Gayatri Mantra with Saptavyahutis by Vasishtha in the Gayatri Kalpa. Of course, there are Puranic interpretations, there are Tantric interpretations, there are Yogic interpretations to the same Gayatri Mantra. And coming to the other parts of the world, because now Gayatri Mantra is in the Vedas. Vedas are from India. India means Greater India, including Pakistan, Afghanistan, and even Iran. So in Iran, whatever the Zend-Avest, which is their holy book for the Parsi Zoroastrian religion, it contains, even that Zend-Avest contains Gayatri Mantra. I have seen with my own eyes the translation of Gayatri Mantra into their language, which is a Western language, which is very close to Rigvedic language. So they were our own people, and the Parsi religion, the Zoroastrianism, is not very different from the Vedic religion, though it became slightly different later gradually. And they have imposed or they have ordered, instructed the Jews in Israel to adopt their version of Ahura Mazda as the single God monotheism. And the Jews were polytheists at that point of time with the first temple of Jews in Jerusalem. And then finally they adopted it as single God by elevating one of their existing gods, Yahweh, into the only one God. And that's how Judaism is become monotheistic. This fact is not known to a lot of people, but scholars do know this fact. And another important fact is all the 3 Abrahamic religions Judaism, Christianity, and Islam have imported the same concept of monotheism of the Judaism into Christianity and into Islam. And the Judaism itself got its original concept of monotheism from Zoroastrianism. And the Zoroastrianism is a child or is a sister of the Rig Veda, and the monotheism of Rig Veda went into Zoroastrianism. This is a long history of several thousands of years, stretching. A lot of people don't know, and everybody thinks their own religious book and religious doctrine is ultimate. Like, for example, you take Sikhism, you take the Guru Granth Sahib. So Sikhs say that now they are different and they want a different country and whatnot. But if you look at the doctrine in the Guru Granth Sahib, which is chanted in every Gurudwara, is Ek Onkar, Satnam, Karta. This is what is chanted there. One Om, and that is the true word, true name, and is the creator, and so on. So what way it is different? The same Omkara is being explained in the Guru Granth Sahib as supreme divine being, which they pray, which is formless, and meditate on it. All prayers are meditations on the same. So this is Shabda Brahma. Why I took so much time to explain? That is Shabda Brahma and Parabrahma, where two Brahmas exist. The Shabda Brahma and Param Brahma. That's what this Upanishad says. Shabda Brahma is what I have explained. The Omkaram, the Gayatri Mantra, and all the other mantras of the Vedas which originate from the Gayatri Mantra. That's why it is known as the Veda Mata. So Param Brahma is the ultimate truth existence, Satchidananda. What exists as absolute, the only one existence, and that is pure consciousness. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. It is Brahmanandam. Paramasukhalam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamacharam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Lava. So that Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramum Mahan, Arjuna tells in Vishwarupa, you are Param Brahma. So you are Param Dhama. You are the Father. Pitase Lokasya Characharasya. The concept of God as Father has come from the Indian culture. It is there in the Gita. Arjuna addresses the Lord as Pita. Pitasi Lokasya Characharasya. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. Moksha Shashvata Dharma Gupta Sanatanastvam Purusho Makanti. So Sanatana, Puratana, difference between Puratana and Sanatana is Puratana as well as Adhunatana as well as Bhavishya Adhunatana. So it is always remaining eternal, infinite. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Yonayadan Hito Guhayam Paramegyo. So to realize the Parabrahman, the Shabda Brahma, that is starting with Omkara, Gayatri Mantra, the Vedic mantras, the entire Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, the complete 4 parts of the Veda, all comprises the Shabda Brahma. So Param Brahma is the actual Brahman. He who knows Shabda Brahma will know Param Brahma. Through Shabda Brahma you will reach Param Brahma. Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha Param Brahma Dhigachati. The AmritaBindu Upanishad says, Grandham Abhyasya Medhavi Jnana Vijnana Tatparaha Palalamiva Dhanyabhi Tayed Grandham Aseshataha. So a mumukshu, a sadhaka, will go through the Shabda Brahma, which includes all the 4 Vedas, Upanishads, and various sources of knowledge, the entire Saraswati. So that knowledge is Grandha, that is in the text. We are reading the text. So what he is telling is, Jnanardhi, Mokshardhi, Mumukshu will Abhyasya Shabda Brahmana, he will perform his sadhana through the Shabda Brahma, through the chanting of the Veda mantras. Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtriyatam. So performing the Veda prasodita karma and chanting the Veda mantras outside and also inside the yajnas. That is the Brahmana karma, which is Shabda Brahma Upasana. So by going through this Shabda Brahma Upasana, he will finally reach Param Brahma, Jnana Kanda. After the Karma Kanda, he will reach Jnana Kanda. It is not true that there is no Jnana in the Veda mantras. Only Karma Kanda is there. That's not the way it is. Karma Kanda, Yajnas, Yagas, they require the chanting of the Veda mantras during the process of execution of the yajnas. That is why it is called Karma Kanda. But those mantras themselves are having profound wisdom and profound Brahmajnana. Like if you take the Purusha Sukta, Purusha eva idagam sarvam. Everything is that Purusha. If you take the Narayana Sukta, which is the mantra pushpam chanted in every temple, Sahasrasirsham Devam Viswaksham Viswasambhavam Viswam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam Vishwadah Paraman Nityam Vishwan Narayanagam Harim Vishwame Vedah Purushastad Vishwamupajivati Patim Vishwasyatmeswaragam Shashvatagam Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahajneyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam Narayana Paro Jyoti Atma Narayana Para Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha Narayana Paro Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha Yaccha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Sruyate Piva Antarbahishya Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha Anantamam Vyayam Samudrentam Vishwashambhuvam. So, these mantras are explaining the entire Brahmajnana, Shabda Brahma, and explaining Param Brahma, which is Narayana in this context. It could be Shiva in Rudrajaya. In the Rudrajaya, the first Namakam explains the universal existence of Shiva, Rudra. And in the second Chamakam, you have the prayer for desires fulfillment. So if you take similarly Sri Suktam, then the Shakti is being explained. Also the Devi Suktam and Saraswati Suktam, where the Shakti is being explained as the Supreme Parabrahman itself. Parabrahma Swarupini. You take the Lalita Sahasranam, who is Lalita? She is Parabrahma Swarupini. Who is Venkateshwara? He is Paramatma Parabrahma. So all Devatas are nothing but the same Parabrahma Paramatma, which is depicted by Om and Gayatri Mantra and the Veda Mantras, which is Shabda Brahma. So the Parabrahma, what he is telling here is, having acquired the knowledge of Parabrahma through the Grantha can be abandoned. Halala Mihavadhanyardhi. If you have the rice grains, there is a husk covering around that. And if you want the rice, actually, you have to remove the husk and throw it away. Initially, husk will be there compulsorily. Similarly, the Brahmajnani who has acquired Brahmajnanam, Atmajnanam, Moksha will abandon all books. In fact, there are some people who never read a single book, but they acquired Brahmajnanam. They are the yogis who are illiterates also. There was one lady who was the teacher of the guru of my own mother. She was illiterate and she never read a single book, but she was able to experience Param Brahma Tattvam, and she was able to express it through lectures and through songs and through various means. Like one famous song she used to sing is Inta Kantanu Vinta Galada Tane Brahmambanu Tattvamunu Marchi Ratiki Mokedar Inta Kantanu Vinta Galada. What can be a greater wonder than the fact that forgetting that oneself is Brahman, one goes and worships a stone. So these kind of Tattvajnana songs she used to sing. And out of her Samadhi experience through Lambika Yogam, she never used to eat food also. I had the good fortune of meeting her, and she was the guru of my own mother. I had the good fortune of getting instructions from her to me through my mother. So this is a very high level of spiritual realization. Our ashrama is now converted into a temple. And now this is the Brahmajnana, which is divide of Shabda Jnana, Shabda Brahma. That is, there are many yogis who never had the occasion or requirement to go through the Shabda Brahma, but they acquired Param Brahma directly. So that is what the Upanishad says. Param Brahma tadvidyat dve vidye veditavye tu Shabda Brahma paranchayat Shabda Brahmani nishnatah Param Brahma adhigacchati Grandham abhyasya medhavi jnana vijnana tatparaha Paladmiv dhanyadhi tyajed Grandham aseshataha Gavam aneka varnanam Kshirasya eka varnata Kshiravat pashyate jnanam Lingavastu gavam yadha Linginastu. So just like, even though the cows are of different colors and different breeds, the milk is one and the same. So jnana is one and the same. Whatever be the shastras or texts, Ghritamiva payasi, Nigodham bhute cha, vasati vijnanam. So like ghee is hidden inside the milk, so also jnana is hidden in various sources. Bhute cha. Mukhe Saraswati. Jnana is hidden. Like Dattatreya had 24 gurus. One guru is a crane, which will be always come until the particular time comes. So he has learned from nature. 24 gurus Dattatreya had. Dattatreya himself is the guru of all gurus. And he says he learned from 24 gurus in nature. So that's what he is being telling here. Bhute cha vasati vijnanam. Vijnanam is there in every being it can be learnt. Satatam, manasi, manantavyam, yadho manthan bhutesh, jnana netrayamadhaya, chodhayed vahnyed param, nishkalam nischalam shantam. So that supreme level of being existence is again being explained. It can be seen through jnana netra. Even in the Visvarupa Sandarshana, Arjuna says, you give me a special power to see the Supreme Being, Vishwarupa, I cannot see with. In fact, Krishna tells Arjuna, you cannot see with your human eye. I am giving a divyam dadamite chakshu. So the jnana netra, the realization that you have to be awakened to a higher state of consciousness, of supreme consciousness, of cosmic consciousness. Jnana netra mahaya. Chodhare dvahnivat nishkalam nischalam shantam tad brahma ahamite nisrutam. So that when you transcend to that level, beyond the ordinary jivatma level, you are realizing that you are Brahman, aham brahmasmi. That is that Brahman is nischalam nishkalam shantam tad brahma ahamiti smrutam. Sarvabhuta adhivasuncha yad bhuteshu vasatyachi. So that which resides in all beings and sarvanugrahat tvena tajasvyam vasudeva tavasvyaham vasudeva iti Upanishad. So vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. The Gita also says a Mahatma, a Jnani, a Brahmajnani, Atmajnani, yogi, successful yogi, who is able to see Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Everything is Vasudeva. In fact, the word Vasudeva comes from the root of Vasanat Vasudevasya. Vasanat Vasudevasya Vasitam Jagatatrayam, Bhuvanatrayam. All the universe is resided by one principle. Yachchakinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Sruyate Piva Antarbahischa Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha. So in and out, seen and unseen, heard and unheard, everything is nothing but Narayana. So that oneness experience, you are not there anymore. Only Vasudeva exists. And you are, if you exist, you are that Vasudeva himself. Vasudeva hamiti. So Brahma hamiti. Brahma atma anubhavas sthiti. So Brahmasmi, that is the highest stage. So to reach that stage is the objective of yoga, Vedanta, Dhyana, Karma, Bhakti. In the case of Bhakti, we start with Bhakta and Ishvara as being separate, and they become gradually closer and closer, and finally they merge into one. That is Bhakti Yoga process. In the Jnana Yoga, it is the opposite process. There is no jiva at all. Jiva is an illusion. It is created by Maya. So, and that Maya is reflected as mind. Maya and mind are one and the same. So, when mind is dissolved, Maya is also dissolved. When Maya is dissolved, you are in your own true nature, which is yourself. And that is the only truth, and all the rest is illusion. So that is what the Jnana Yoga method is, to assert the Jnana of yourself being the Brahman or Paramatma or Ishvara or Om, and you are not Jiva. Therefore, you don't have any of the attributes of Jiva, like the body and the mind and senses and the intellect and Ahankara, Mamakara, Raga, Dvesha, Kama. So, Dehanyatva Name Jadmajara Karshalaya Deha. I being not the body, I don't have birth, I don't have death, I don't have disease. And I being not the mind, amanastvad name dukkha raga bhayadeha. I not being the mind, I don't have sorrow, raga, attachment, fear, and other emotions. So, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham. Who am I? I am Shiva. I am Brahma, I am Paramatma, I am Om. So that is the meditation. Om meditation also, you are merging into Om. And Soham meditation is also there, where Soham, Saha means he, Aham means I. Soham, you synchronize your breathing with it. In the process, you will reach absorption. I and he become one. Like Meera said, Prabhuji, my Chandan, tu Pani. Tu Chandan, my Pani. That is, Chandan and Pani get merged together into one. So when the Radha and Krishna are merged into one, they are one and the same. That is Shuddha-Advaita approach of Vallabhacharya. And so the Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and in Raja Yoga, of course, the Ashtanga Yoga, the mind is purified to such an extent that mind becomes absorbed. Unmani, amanaska sthiti, unmanyavastha. We have seen in the Yoga Taravadi how unmanyavastha can be reached through Kevala Kumbhaka, and that is the step before Samadhi. And in Samadhi, you are in Unmanyavastha. So this is the yogic, Hatha yogic, Raj yogic methodology. That is Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. And Karma Yoga, of course, you perform your actions without any interest in the result. So the karma will not bind you. So these four major yogas, and what I have explained to you as Atma Yoga, which is the nature of the self. When you analyze who am I, finally you'll realize I am that. That's what is said in Tattvamasi. Oh, you are that which you are talking about. That supreme being, you are that. And Aham Brahma, I am that. So this is the process of sadhana. The AmritaBindu Upanishad took us from, to summarize now, to conclude, it took us from the mind, its nature of the mind, the impurities of the mind, how to purify the mind. Purification of the mind comes through Yoganga Anusthana, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Anusthana, Sadhana, and also in the Bhakti Yoga by various steps of Navavidha Bhakti is there. The Kirtana, Dhyana, Puja, all temple worship, all rituals are all coming under Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the most popular yoga. Masses are following Bhakti Yoga in various countries, in various forms of various religions, and followers, various gurus. But it is slow process, but it will also. So Purusha Parda Bhaktya Labhyastvananyaya. It is said in the 12th, in the Bhagavad Gita, that without bhakti you cannot acquire the Paramapurusha. So sometimes it is also valid to conclude that all these different yogas, they converge, they merge into one. Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, they all finally merge into one. And though they are different, that's why Swami Vivekananda made a presentation of different yogas in different books, different lectures. But he also said it can be a combination of various yogas and a convergence of all the yogas into the ultimate liberation of self, supreme state of self-realization. So now I think we can open up for questions.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very insightful commentary on this AmritaBindu Upanishad. Viewers, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat box and we'll wait for a few minutes. As we wait, Prabhuji, I want to ask you a couple of questions. We see that when we speak of Yoga Darshana, especially as enunciated in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, etc., usually it is considered as a Dvaita Darshana, right? It accepts duality of Purusha and Prakriti. But in the Yoga Upanishads that we discussed, it appears to me that it is Advaitic in its orientation. So, can you share your comments, your views on this?
Well, I have raised this question with very great scholars earlier and Vedic scholars and yogis. Not only Dvaita, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, Shuddhadvaita, Dvaita, Advaita, and Achintya Advaita, like this, there are around 25 Siddhantas. So now, primarily Advaita, Dvaita, Visishtadvaita, three are most prominent, and of course, Shuddhadvaita is also there. So what I got the answer for this question previously is that all are valid in different perspectives. It is not that Advaita means there is no Dvaita. The word Advaita itself has Dvaita in it. So Dvaita doesn't mean Advaita is not there. Because Dvaita itself implies Advaita as so they are all connected. It depends on, you see, if you look at the Veda mantras also, if you look at from the perspective of the Purusha or from the perspective of Brahman, it's only Advaita. Purusha eva idagam sarvam. So only one truth exists, and that is Purusha, that is Paramatman, that is Ishvara, that is Bhagavan, that is Brahman. From that perspective. From the Jiva perspective, it is definitely Dvaita. Because I am there and God is there, how can I and God be same? Because I am having a mind and I am having samskaras, I am having vasanas, I am having karma. So I am a Jiva, I am XYZ, so and so limited. And Bhagavan doesn't have karma, doesn't have samskara, doesn't have janma, doesn't. So how can I be same as him? So this is the logic which Dvaitis promote in their debates, discussions, and the lectures also. So now what happens is that, well, that is true. At that point of time, at that perspective, yes, that is true. So yoga is Dvaita, it is considered as Dvaita. But then finally it becomes Advaita only, because if you, the moment the moksha is reached, the jiva is not there anymore. So only Brahman is there, God is there, so that is Advaita. And in Jnana Yoga, the reverse process is being taken. That jivatva is a myth, it is a farce. It is due to Maya only you are thinking you are Jiva. Otherwise, there is no Jiva at all. So if you eliminate Maya, then automatically only Brahman exists. And you see, in fact, this is, the subject itself is like that. It is not black and white like other subjects. It is Brahma Vidya. And that is why people say, when you find some very difficult problem, there's a idemana Brahma Vidya. It is not Brahma Vidya. Why are you worrying? You will be able to solve it. So that means Brahma Vidya is something which cannot be understood, which cannot be solved. So this is Brahma Vidya. It is like that. It is not black and white, Advaita, black and white, Advaita, and therefore you take, sides and all that. It is a very abstract subject. All are true and all are not true also. Because, moksha, if you take, now the basic question I ask everyone, who is getting moksha? If you say, I am getting moksha, then who are you? That question is. Are you existing other than this pure self? No. So if you are pure self, then the pure self doesn't need moksha. It is already liberated. So actually, nobody gets moksha. Only Ajnana gets moksha. Avidya gets moksha. So Nitya, Suddha, Mukta, Mukta, it is already Mukta. So there are many such questions which are not having a normal answers like black and white, but these are deep intuitive aspects which will, once you go into it, you will easily understand. Like if you go to Sabarimalai, people go with great pain and effort, and after going there, there's a big board written there, Tattvamasi. They see it there, but they never understand what it is. So you go to many temples, this will be written, so that Advaita Bhava is conveyed in all the Bhakti, Dvaita text also in one way or the other. Because from the God's perspective, there's only Advaita. From the individual's perspective, it is Dvaita.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we have received one question from the audience. It says that in the verse 7, you touched upon meditating beyond the sound of Om. So by this, what is really meant? Is it the silence after Ma, after in the Om chanting? Can you explain more?
Yeah, good question. Now, Om chanting, long Om, when chanted repeatedly, will end in silence, total silence. And that silence is the state in which nothing is there. You are in your own self. So, because mind has already been stopped through the meditation process, and before that pranayama, and before that asanas, before that whatever. So finally, at the last stage, you are in yourself, and it is undefinable. It is pure consciousness. I will explain 4 sentences which I explained previously also once again, which are my own sentences. First is, all experience of reality is a conditioning of the consciousness. So when the conditioning takes place, that is a conditioning of pure consciousness is a thought, and a sequence of thoughts, series of thoughts is mind, and the mind is the universe. So we are going in the reverse process in the yoga. We calm the mind, we stop the thoughts, we go into pure consciousness, unconditioned pure consciousness. That you can experience at the end of Om in silence. And that unconditioned pure consciousness is the truth. And all experience is only conditioning of the consciousness. And even the question, who am I also, the answer will be based on the conditioning. So the second sentence is, the true nature of reality cannot be known or experienced unless and until all conditioning is eliminated, which we are doing through the Om meditation. And third is the true nature of the consciousness. Who am I also is based on conditioning, which we are. So finally, the fourth sentence is, as and when, if at all conditioning is eliminated, the true nature of the consciousness and true nature of the reality will merge into one. And that is the final stage which we are experiencing at the end of Om in silence.
Okay, excellent. Very practical advice, Prabhuji. I'm not seeing any more question, but I have one more question.
Please
from
go ahead. Yeah.
What is the difference between Nididhyasa and Dhyana? I mean, especially the Omkara Dhyana and all that we discussed. Is it
Yes.
same as the Nididhyasa, or is there any technically there is any, or practically there is any difference between the Vedanta Nididhyasa and this Omkara Dhyana, etc., spoken in the
They are in a way different, but they converge finally. In the sense, you see, in the Vedanta, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasa, there are 3 steps. So Brahmajnana, nature of Brahman or nature of the self is first heard, Sravana. Then Manana, it is contemplated repeatedly, like I'm not this, I'm not that, and so on. I am Brahman, I am Shiva, like that. And finally, it is Nididhyasa, Savana Marana Nididhyasa. That is deep meditation on the Brahmakara Vritti. So the Brahmakara Vritti is formed due to Sravana and Manana. And the Nididhyasa is meditation, contemplation on the Brahmakara Vritti, which can finally result in nothingness also, Nirguna Sthiti. See, now what is Nirguna Sthiti is also a very interesting question. Now, it is like asking what is zero. Now, if you take 0 by 0 is equal to infinity. Now, Ramanujan made this very clear. 0 by 0 is infinity. That means if you take the denominator 0 to the other side, 0 into infinity is also 0. So that means 0 and infinity are having a unique relationship. 0 is infinity and infinity is 0 also. So nirguna means everything of gunas inclusive of nothingness also. So the nirguna sthiti, which that means everything and nothingness, both. Sunyavastha, Buddha reached Sunyavastha. He said Sarvam Sunyam Sunyam. So in the yogic process of meditation, it is practically eliminating the thoughts and conditioning of the mind and reaching Sunya Sthiti. And Sunya Sthiti is Nirguna Sthiti, which is what is also reached in the Nirguna Brahmopasana in the Vedanta with Om. So they converge is my view, though they are different paths.
But isn't there a difference between the Bauddha shunyata and the Vedantic Brahma Vada? There is a
Yeah,
difference.
that's what I'm saying. You see, I have experienced the Shunya Sthiti in Tiruvannamalai in the Skandashramam at the top for several hours. I was totally unconscious. And even now I recall it will be pleasant unconscious state. So I went and asked Pushpagiri Shankaracharya, what is it? He said that is Shunyavastha. But in Shunyavastha also, the self exists. Otherwise, you will not come back and you will not say that, oh, I was happy and I was so peaceful and all that.
Yes.
So that means that is only a razor blade difference between the Buddhist Sunyavastha and the Chetana of Atma Sthiti. It is Sunya so far as the mind is concerned, so far as the Indriyas are concerned, so far as Buddhi is concerned. It is Sunya only. But it is not Sunya so far as the Atman is concerned. Because if the Atman didn't exist, there will be no coming back and there will be no experience. There is no experiencer. Experiencer, feeler, thinker, enjoyer, consciousness existed, obviously. So there will be no Buddha himself to tell that it is Sunya. So that is why in our Advaita Sthiti, this Atma Sthiti is accepted. Shankaracharya asserted the Atman exists beyond Shunya also. That is why Deham Pranam Api Indriyanyapi Chalam Buddhincha Shunyam Viduhu. I am body, I am mind, I am Buddhi, I am Shunya. Stri Balandha Jadopamat Swahamiti Bhranta Vrishambhadina. So he has dismissed saying, even to say I am Shunya is as invalid as saying I am the body. Though it is a subtler, higher, much subtler stage. Deham pranam api indriyanyapi chalam buddhincha sunyam viduhu. Stri balandha jadopamat ahaviti bhranta brishamvadinaha. So these are all dismissed as wrong. Sunya is also dismissed as a wrong identity of the self, though it is the last state of experience beyond the body, mind, and intellect. It has its own status. Actually, I would consider the ultimate truth is integrative. It is not conflictive. You see, the experiences reached by Buddha or by Shankara or by yogis, or they are convergent, they are inclusive at a stage of higher level rather than conflicting. They are not contradictory. This realization has to come. That is samanvaya, which is what I have been trying. Samanvaya of across different, these 4 sentences which I told you, they provide samanvaya. I have presented them to various denominations of philosophy. They have admitted to it. I'll again repeat and close the session with those 4 sentences. All experience of reality, quotes, is a conditioning of the consciousness. That's the first sentence. Because there is no experience possible of reality without conditioning. And therefore, the true nature of reality, second sentence is, cannot be experienced or known until and unless all conditioning is eliminated. So the third sentence, then who is that? What is that consciousness, that I? So the true nature of the consciousness also cannot be known or experienced unless and until all conditioning is eliminated. And the fourth sentence is, if and when, if at all, because eliminating conditioning is almost impossible. If and when the conditioning is eliminated, if at all, the true nature of the reality and the true nature of the consciousness will merge into one, because two itself is conditioned. Perceiving two, I and something else itself is conditioning. Ekameva advitiyam brahma. So out of these four you can derive Vedanta. Conditioning is Maya, and Brahman is reality. Consciousness is Atman. And in yoga, conditioning is Chitta, and consciousness is self, Drashta, and reality is the universe outside. So like this you can derive. Even I presented to Buddhists also, they also admitted to it. I presented to even ISKCON people, they also admitted to it. Because that consciousness or that oneness is Krishna only. So, so I presented to many different people. So the Samanvaya, the integrative framework is what I am trying across different philosophical schools. It's a possibility which I have been, throughout my life, I have been presenting. This is about 50 years old statements. So people have admitted. Till today, I didn't find a person who will contradict these four things.
Wonderful, wonderful. So as we come to a conclusion, last I'll quickly read out the one or two questions, and you can give a quick answer. Um, does thinking stop completely upon attaining moksha?
No. See, the point is, in the samadhi stage, thinking is not there. You are in a deep silence and deep absorption. It is sunya first and beyond sunya next. So you are in the self, in the samadhi state only. But once you come out of samadhi state, all yogis will come out also. Some people may remain few minutes, some people may remain few days, some people may remain for weeks or months or years. Like Valmiki remained under Valmikam for years and years. So even after that, he has to come back. So when you come out into the sensory world, you are liberated soul. You are Jivan Mukta. But you will be behaving like any other person, apparently. Like Krishna, Rama, all these people, Prahlada. They behaved as if they are normal people, doing everything. But actually they are liberated. They are jnanis, mukta atmas. Videha prakritirayas are also there. So the mukta state is can be seen. That is called sthita prajna lakshana, yogi lakshana, bhakti lakshana. Guna, Tita, so many words have been explained. So that can be easily observed by others, and he can be the guru, guide like that to others. So that is, thoughts will be there, everything will be normal, but he will be different. He is Sthita Prajna, or he is Yogi Guna Tita. So that is what has been explained in the Gita in many contexts. So Krishna asks us to be that and then act in this world. As if we are, apparently it appears like common person, but is different. So he's unique. So that is the, Rama was like that, Krishna was like that, and Prahlada was also like that. So many others were like that. The moksha sthiti, jivan mukta sthiti. And that is why Hanuman chose Rama as his guru, even though Hanuman is much more advanced in powers and other things than Rama. Rama was a human being. But Hanuman had many powers, Ashtasiddhis. But still he chose Rama as his guru because Rama is a liberated soul. From the Yoga Vasishtha, you can make out that he acquired Jivan Mukta Sthiti through the Yoga Vasishtha conversation from this guru. So that's why there is a discussion. Who is Rama? There are some people who want to classify the whole world into two categories, either muktas or amuktas. So Rama is a mukta, so that is how he was classified as a mukta. And all others are, in bandha. So we are all in bandha. So only Jivan Mukta will be muktas. Even though he's alive, he is liberated.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful lecture, and thank you for clarifying all important doubts, practical advices you have given. We look forward to doing more of these sessions on other Yoga Upanishads. Thank you very much. Viewers, we have come to the conclusion of today's Weekend with Wisdom. Do follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates about our upcoming programs. With this, we conclude the session with a prayer. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.